Hello, everyone. This is Shawn, Mystic Alley, Spiritual Concierge, and we are having a conversation about trauma bonding and the three different types of primary trauma bonds that you might actually be experiencing. Take it away, Allie.
Well, what we were saying is that this is a time where we have we have a greater ability than ever to delete what's not working for us. We just didn't really always have an understanding of how to work in the quantum field, and so through the work that Spirit downloads through me is our ability to change our reality in a quantum way. And what that means is that you've got this 3D field where you have your everyday life experiences. And then we have this field available that's coming into our reality that allows for us to delete through belief and feeling what's not working for us. But what we really need to do is be able to escape the patterning by giving ourselves awareness of what those feelings are. And so Shawn and I were talking, and I'm going to allow her to give you the three that we came up with that are major trauma bonds. And then I'm going to talk about those. So, Shawn, what were the three that you felt would have the biggest impact in putting a cog in our wheel?
So, the victim martyr trauma bond, the addiction to chaos, and the addiction to adrenaline, which is very much connected to chaos.
So let's start with the victim martyr. It's a really common one to have because a lot of us we're doing so much good in the world that we sort of overdo and overserve and overdeliver. Some of us, right? The ones of you that are out there that go, oh my gosh, yes, I trauma bond through either giving too much and then feeling bad about it, and when I'm exhausted then I'm resentful, right? But that trauma bond is that you were the one that overdid and you were the one that wasn't aware. And how we stop the victim martyr in all the different situations where we're experiencing it is to connect with the divine source that created you first and foremost. And that is in the time space continuum, always now. So you may have connected with divine source energy before, and you might do it in the future, but all you really have is now. And that is so beneficial to know, because when you know that you can drop into your heart and forgive yourself for any of the dysfunctional patterning, whether you're the victim or whether you're the martyr, and you're always going to be a little of both at some point, it's mostly knowing, can I identify with honesty which role and when I'm in it? And that is kind of the superpower that we're trying to bring to you. Is one of the things that's Holy Spirit always downloads within me, and in a lot of the messages that come through are very often, we have a lot of beliefs that aren't true. But we say that they're true because we feel like they're true. But a lot of times they could be truth of our trauma bond and not truth of who we are, or not truth of the experience for others with us, right? We can get into that victim role and say, this is true, and this is what you're doing, and this is who you are, and this is what you've done to me, when it may or may not be true. You might have a huge story around your own victimization and kind of exploding it on someone else. So what we're kind of calling you to do in the victim martyr sort of timeline is to say, when I'm feeling really bad, the best way I could find my awareness of what's really happening is to get to what is the truth for all involved. Not just the perspective and the story that you're living out, but to try to bring that awareness of how that same situation is affecting others around you. And it doesn't mean that we have to let people stomp on us. I think some people can be kind of unkind and use your goodness back on you to say, oh, you're a spiritual person, why don't you just forgive me? Or you know better than this, or you teach better than this, or whatever. And we're not asking for that. If you've got to end something and you've got to delete something, then remove whatever you need to. Cut that out. It doesn't matter. You're going to have your own different ways of ending those circumstances, but try to always, even if you have to end those trauma bonds, you can still pray for those people. You can still pray for yourself, right? Um, you don't have to be overly nice or overly kind when you're feeling hurt. You can be who you are, but try to be truthful, try to be aware, and try to have the best vibration within your body while you're handling those hard situations that are before you. And one thing to always do is to ask your mind to come down into your heart so you can feel the truth, the maybe a little bit more than you'd be willing to see on your own. Bring great spirit into your body, into your mind, into your feeling centers. And it's those feeling centers when you decide to delete the patterning, you can just say, I don't know how. I don't know how. So the same is true for the chaos, right? We become addicted to being drawn out of our center by the chaos around us in the world. And there's always going to be plenty of it, even if it's just noise around you or TV around you or traffic around you. Those are ways that we've become so accustomed to those things going on all the time. We don't realize it's also that noise, that what do you call it? The static, right? We can that can actually be an addiction to chaos too.
Mhm.
Too
TV
still,
and
and then and you're
video.
not happy when it's still. It's too quiet, right? It's too quiet around here. Then you probably have a little addiction to chaos. And the same thing is true as you can say to Great Spirit, I feel restless and I don't know how to release that. Can you please come into my heart, come into every cell of my body, and just with my own free will, I'm going to delete anything that is taking me away from my true center, the chaos around me, the chaos within me. I delete that in this now moment, which leads us to the adrenaline one, right? We got the adrenaline one, which is kind of involved in both those other trauma responses, the victim, the perpetrator, and then there's the chaos, right? But the adrenaline comes from all those situations. So if you find yourself getting bored with life and you find that you're a little more engaged and a little more excited because you're feeling the disruption of your peaceful emotions, adrenaline isn't necessarily bad, right? Because you could just maybe like the thrill of jumping off of a cliff into water, or you could be an adrenaline junkie because you love to, you know, do risky things. We're not really talking about that. We're talking about the negative triggers and the trauma bonds that are related to feeling, are my situations often going south on me?
Mhm.
Right? Or when I have an opportunity to pray for something, do I kind of think, well, it's not going to work out though, but yeah, I'll pray with you, or I'll pray for it, or I have been praying for it. But then there's no belief attached to trust. So when you're finding that you're getting a negative adrenaline rush from life in general, I think the overarching theme here is to breathe the breath of life into your body, down into your heart, and really just spend at least, 30 seconds to a minute of trying to really ask Spirit, Great Spirit, center me, help me to identify those things that are igniting my separation from you. And I don't know how to heal it now, but I give you my free will to heal it in this now moment. And I think that that is a great way to just sort of introduce you to some quick ways to really heal big experiences that you could be stuck in negative trauma loops over.
It's amazing, Allie. Thank you. And we want to invite you, if you need more, if you'd love more information, we have a free quantum healing trauma to triumph group, and the QR code is right below you on the screen. So we'd love to see you in that, and more of Mystic Allie and tools to transform your trauma from the inside out. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you